Now, Korea and Japan are holding their 10th round of talks in Seoul today on resolving their differences over Tokyo's wartime sexual enslavement of Korean women. This follows an agreement reached by the leaders of both countries to resolve the issue as quickly as possible. Our Song Ji-sun is standing by for us at the Foreign Ministry. Ji-sun.
Good afternoon, Mark. South Korea's Northeast Asian Affairs Bureau Chief at the Foreign Ministry, Lee Sang-deok, has been sitting down with his Japanese counterpart, Ishikane Kimihiro, for the 10th round of working-level talks. It's worth noting that these are the first talks since the summit earlier this month between President Park Geun and Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. The two leaders had agreed to expedite their negotiations for a faster resolution. It also comes just a few days before the two leaders could meet again at multilateral talks like the G20 summit that will be held later this weekend in Turkey. Although the leaders have nothing official scheduled, they could hold a conversation on the sidelines to follow up on this issue. However, no details have been released about what was discussed today at this 10th round of talks. The Japanese representative went past by reporters without saying too much about his arrival here this morning. But the two are expected to continue their talks during a lunch session later this afternoon. Mark?
Now, Ji-sun, as we've mentioned a few times now, this is the 10th round of these talks. The first were held in April last year. The two sides are talking, but can we really expect any concrete results today?
Not likely, Mark, and not likely before the end of this year. The key for the two officials will be to narrow their differences enough so they can reach an agreement on the matter by the end of the year, as proposed by President Park Geun prior to summit talks. However, Abe is firm that Japan's legal obligations was settled in a 1965 agreement that normalized relations between the two countries, adding that the two should work together so this issue doesn't come up again for future generations. Now, speaking on a local radio program this morning, Korea's Vice Foreign Minister Im Sung-nam countered that argument, stating that the so-called comfort woman issue was not included in that treaty. Now, Tokyo is likely to offer the victims financial aid instead of the formal apology and compensation that Seoul and the victims demand. But the clock is ticking for the handful of the remaining survivors. Over 200,000 women, most of whom were Korean, were forced into sexual slavery by the Japanese military during and before World War II, but only 47 are still alive today. I'm Song Ji-sun reporting live at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Back to you, Mark.